Well, I've heard a number of folks downplay New Mexico as a state-only program, and I agree that New Mexico shouldn't move forward as a state-only program, but we're not. We're moving forward with 10 other jurisdictions in designing and implementing a cap-and-trade program, a regional cap-and-trade program. And the emissions in this region are significant. They're well over 1 billion metric tons annually, the equivalent of the country of Germany. So it's not just little New Mexico doing this. We're doing this with some large players like California and the province of Ontario. And we think we can get significant greenhouse gas emission reductions.
New Mexico is one of these states that's talking about a regional cap-and-trade plan. Do you think that's rather dubious?
I do, because what it'll do is it'll increase the price of energy for you, which means that you will be at a competitive disadvantage to other states, and to no advantage to yourself or to the world, because it would be not measurable. You cannot go it alone. By going alone, we couldn't even go it alone as a nation. We have to, if we're to develop a carbon plan to reduce carbon emissions, this has to be a global plan. China has to be in on it. India has to be in on it. We have to do this as a world.
Then you have a trading mechanism between the states. So if those emission reductions are cheaper in one state than the other, our sources can buy those. So they're not obligated to reduce at each and every source like traditional air quality programs are. They can look for the cheapest emission reductions and purchase those emission reductions to meet their compliance obligation. That's why cap and trade is better, we think, for this type of pollutant than command and control.
But let's say you were a state and you said, well, I don't see any economic benefit to participating in any kind of regional agreement. What kind of economic persuasion can you make to a state that says, well, I don't see any economic upside to this?
We have solid economic analysis both at the regional level and at the state level that does not show a downside to this. So when I hear people talk about the downside, I want to say, show me your study. What analysis did you do? What were your assumptions?
It's not going to be more expensive for the average person?
It is not. We will show you, both at the regional level and at the state level, that it's not. And here's why. It's the energy efficiency programs that kick in. It's cleaner cars, it's more efficient buildings, it's fewer miles traveled. So at the end of the day, the consumer will not pay any more for their gasoline or their utility bill.
Well, it's just not a good idea. If we're going to do it, let's do it nationally. Let's look at it nationally, but have individual states do this. It's not a winner for you. You're not going to get. You have to look at the cost and the benefits. What is going to be the benefit for the citizens of this state to take this cost on themselves?
I want to see the utilities data when they say it's going to raise prices 24%, 50%. What we're talking about is not nearly the same type of rate increase that PNM has implemented over the last 2 years and is considering in this year for PNM rate customers.
If that's the case, though, then why would both candidates for governor, you would expect the Republican maybe to be against this, but Diane Dennis has come out against cap and trade as well. If it's a net plus for everybody, then what's the political upside to being opposed to it?
I would hope that the political candidates would take the time to actually look at what we're proposing, to actually look at the sound analysis behind it, and not get caught up in some of the rhetoric and statements that have been
So they're just wrong?
I think that they need to study the program.